Hi, I'm Frank Macioce, and I'm here today with Judith L Josephs, the Director of Community Programs here in Summit. And we're going to talk about a very serious subject today. The subject is drowning. Drowning is the #1 cause of accidental death for children in the 1 to 4 age group. Every year, over 1,000 children, 14 years and under, drown in pools and spas. Thousands more are hospitalized. Judith is here to help us understand the facts and to learn how to protect ourselves and our loved ones from drowning. And as you can see, we're at the fabulous Family Aquatic Center here in Summit. So Judith, I didn't realize that drowning is the leading killer of children. What should we all be doing?
Well, Frank, just having that understanding is already a start. I think you were really startled when I shared with you those statistics. And we don't know unless we've been touched by it ourselves. And I also happen to be the president of the Aquatic Section of the New Jersey Recreation and Park Association. And we're doing everything we can to educate the public that whether you're at a public pool, a backyard pool, if you're in a lake or a river, that we really need to be aware of what drowning is and how can we prevent it and how can we protect our children, because there should not be another family that suffers that terrible loss. So together we're trying to educate, and that's what we should be doing. We should be learning about how to be safe, how to be vigilant, and how to protect our children.
The statistics really are alarming. So now, is it easy to recognize when someone's drowning? You know, I go to the movies and I see somebody flailing around and waving their arms. Is that how it happens?
Well, you know, the movies show you someone, and there's even, I remember as a kid talking about they came up once, then they came up twice, and on the third time they drowned. Drowning does not look like that at all. It does not look like that. Most drownings are silent. Most drownings involve a child walking into a pool and just purely, quietly drowning. And oftentimes it happens because mom thought dad had her. Dad thought mom had her, or they overestimated the child's ability. And what frightens me even more is that when you're at a facility like this, or the many parks throughout New Jersey, you know, the idea is, oh, they could be dangerous, but you have to even be aware of koi ponds. Does your neighbor have a koi pond? Last year in New Jersey, 2 little preschoolers looking down at the fish toddled into that pond, a little koi pond, and drowned. And have your neighbors who have a swimming pool, has it been inspected lately? Is there a gate? Is there a cover? We really need to look at swimming and swimming facilities and lakes and bodies of water. Not that they're terrible, but how can we learn to keep our kids safe in them? And it's all about education.
So as adults and as parents and grandparents, what exactly can we do?
Well, if you have grandchildren or children, first of all, learn CPR. I mean, we all should learn CPR and the use of an AED. But the first thing we have to do is protect our children by being diligent. You know, cell phone use is adding to this problem because people are so focused on their cell phones. But when you're near water with your children, when you're with your babies, when you're with your kids, you need to be a water watcher. Someone has to be designated to watch that water. And oftentimes, it's backyard pools where it becomes dangerous. So learn CPR. Be a water watcher, be aware, and learn what's safe and what's not safe to do in and around bodies of water.
Sounds almost like a designated driver.
It is. And, you know, many of us feel that it's as important as knowing that you need a fire extinguisher. You need the designated driver. You need the designated water watcher. And that person promises that I'm going to watch that water. And, you know, drowning can happen even in properly lifeguarded pools. So we always say that we are the lifeguards, but parents are the lifesavers. And we try to make people understand that when you're with us, we're partners. But when you're somewhere else, this is what you need to know to be safe.
Pool safety tip number 1. Never swim alone. Always have a buddy. This big guy is my buddy.
Never swim without your 20.
Thanks, pal.
Safety tip number 2. Only swim in designated areas supervised by trained lifeguards.
Safety tip number 3. Young or inexperienced swimmers are encouraged to use U.S. Coast Guard approved life jackets. They are conveniently located at the gatehouse.
Safety tip number 4. Never leave your child unattended. Supervise your kids at all times while in the water.
Safety tip number 5. Do not drink the pool water. Disgusting and unsafe.
Safety tip number 6. Put away your cell phone. Even if a lifeguard is well trained, his or her attention is focused on several swimmers at a time, not just your child.
Safety tip number 7. Pay attention to signs at all times, such as signs marking the water depths and designated diving areas. Also, listen to lifeguards at all times.
Safety tip number 8. No running on the pool deck or horseplay in the pool. No pushing into the pool, no dunking, and no excessive splashing.
Safety tip number 9. Take regular breaks. Reapply sunscreen, rehydrate, and take bathroom breaks.
Safety tip number 10. Become a better swimmer. Sign up for Sharky Swim School or private one-on-one lessons with our WSI certified lifeguards.
So, Judith, you mentioned something about public pools, and now you got me worried. Are we safe in public pools?
Well, I'm going to tell you the safest body of water is a public pool because, for example, here at the Summit Family Aquatic Center, it takes 7 inspections by different state agencies and local agencies to get us open. We have higher standards here than, for example, a small club pool or a fitness center pool. And many of you who travel know that in New Jersey, for example, a motel pool doesn't have to have a lifeguard. Doesn't have to have a lifeguard. And yet these pools often also have perhaps a restaurant, perhaps a bar, and they need professionally trained lifeguards. And also parents that understand what to do should an incident happen, how to help a child, how to reach for a child without endangering yourself. You know, often the statistics include that a child goes into a body of water, let's say falls off a deck into a lake or into a pond, and then someone bravely goes in after them, but then they succumb to the drown as well. So things like learning that you grab a stick, a pole, that you have a life preserver near your backyard pool. You can use a chair. You can have any way that you can reach a kid. A towel is one of the best ways to reach, whether it's a kid or an adult, and bring them to safety. But in public pools, and what I have to say is one thing that we've been championing here in Summit, and it's now spreading across other public pools, are free life vests being used, available Coast Guard approved life vests. And we've had some pushback from some public pools who say, oh, well, if you walk past a rack with life vests on, doesn't that kind of give the image that maybe your pool's not safe? And I say, au contraire, it means we're really safe. And I'll tell you why in just a minute.
So, Judith, you mentioned inspectors, and because this is a municipal facility, you have state inspectors. What do they look for?
Well, they look for the annual electrical grounding and bonding certificate, and every 5 years you have to get a new one. And that's really important, Frank, because around the country, almost every summer, you'll hear about someone being electrocuted in a pool that hasn't been properly bonded and grounded. So municipalities have to not only show that and be inspected each year, but every 5 years have a whole new grounding plan done. So there's an electrical inspection. There's a building inspection. There's a fire inspection. There's the health inspection that talks about the quality of the water and how do you take care of your filtration system. And then here, because we have running water and slides, there's the New Jersey Bureau of Amusements. So from state to state, you can see it's all pretty similar, but for municipal pools and commercial pools, they're held to a higher standard than the backyard pool. And that's a little bit disconcerting.
Yeah.
because there's not as many inspections and there's not as much bureaucracy, I get, but there's not enough enforcement and reinforcement about keeping kids safe in backyard pools.
Okay. We'll get to backyard in just a second because I do want to ask about that. But where and when do most drownings occur?
Well, most drownings occur at backyard pool parties or pool parties where people get excited, kids get excited, parents get distracted. And that's where a lot of drownings happen. And also when they're given floats that are not Coast Guard approved floats, you might see like a really cute alligator with little strings along the side. Be really careful, parents. Those aren't life preservers. A child could roll off of that alligator, keep reaching for that rope, but turn over again. There's been a few stories in the news, even about celebrities who have even hired a lifeguard, a private lifeguard for their backyard pool, but they had so many toys in the pool that they couldn't see a child underneath a toy or underneath a float. So backyard pools where there are lots of children and not enough supervision and the party atmosphere reigns, that's where things get kind of touchy. And my poor husband, when we go to a hotel pool or we're at a party and people are not really being vigilant, I either become the de facto lifeguard, or in a hotel I have to turn my chair around because there's been many an instance where I've gone in too. So we need to be really vigilant. So it's backyard pools and hotel pools that don't have lifeguards where most of these incidents happen. The other place is also boating accidents. Now, here in New Jersey, boating is huge. And boating accidents, and, well, you know the story, boating and alcohol does not mix. But people get a little overly confident in a boat. But anything could happen. You could have an accident. The driver of the boat could have a heart attack. There could be a myriad of things that could happen. And then people are scrambling for life vests. That's the wrong time to be looking for help. And so things can happen. So you should always be prepared. But that backyard pool, if I can't urge enough, backyard pool parties where moms or dads step away for 5 minutes to go get the cake, that's when things happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I notice here that you offer life jackets. There's life jackets around. Isn't that off-putting for people? Don't they think well, maybe this is a dangerous place?
Yeah. I'm so glad you asked that because I'm like the Joan of Arc of life vests at public facilities. And the Waterpark industry has made them pretty standard because they have such large facilities and so many people coming. But I have been having free rental U.S. Coast Guard approved life vests available at any pool where I've ever worked. And I've championed this around New Jersey, and slowly but surely communities are coming on board. I'm so happy to say that Secaucus pools now have them as well. There's sort of an old school idea that if you have life vests in your lobby or your bathhouse, that people are going to think that, oh, they must not trust their lifeguards. Oh, no, we want you to be safe. And that's why we have the Coast Guard approved life vests. We teach people how to wear them. It helps you have confidence. Our lifeguards have gone into the water 75% less times than they did when we didn't have free available life vests. And some people come and they get disappointed because they say, oh, well, this cute little bear thing is why can't I put my baby in that little float where they float around the pool? Those are not Coast Guard approved. They will not help to save a child. So we provide them. So if you come with the wrong item, we have it here for you and we'll teach you how to use it. And we have found that our lifeguards are safer because they're not going in many more times. And when a kid has a good experience in a pool with a life jacket, that starts them off on a lifetime of loving swimming.
Are the kids happy to wear them?
Yeah, they're proud to wear them because they can play more and they can practice, and then they take swimming lessons, and that's a big deal too. We can talk about that. But it's important to pick the right life jacket, and as you know, Shark Diddy happens to be someone that is our head lifeguard here and our mascot, and we have Diddy TV, and he's going to teach you how to get the right life jacket.
Here at the Summit Family Aquatic Center, we offer free life jackets.
Make sure your life jacket is U.S. Coast Guard approved. Every life jacket that is U.S. Coast Guard approved will have an approval number on the inside of the jacket.
Make sure your life jacket is in good condition. Check for any rips, tears, and holes. Ensure that seams, fabric straps, and hardware are all in good condition. It's recommended to give a quick tug on any straps to make sure they are secure.
If your life jacket fits properly, it'll help you keep your head above water. A good way to test the fit of your life jacket is to hold your arms up in the air. If the life jacket rises up over your head, it's too big.
Check the manufacturer's label to ensure that the life jacket is proper fit for your size and weight. Sizes are labeled on the inside of each life jacket.
Make sure the life jacket is properly fastened. Secure all buckles and straps. Be sure to tuck in any extra straps.
The U.S. Coast Guard and the life jacket manufacturers recommend testing a life jacket in the water as soon as possible to determine a child's reaction. It's important to remind children to stay calm when wearing a life jacket by relaxing their arms and legs.
Lastly, and most important, the life jacket is not a babysitter. An adult should always be present to supervise children near water, even if the life jacket is on. If you or your guest has any question about the use of a life jacket, please ask the management or lifeguard staff. Have a safe and happy visit at the Summit Family Aquatic Center.
What's the single most important thing? I mean, you've given us a lot of information here. And if you could highlight the single most important thing to prevent drowning, what would it be?
Take swim lessons. Learn how to swim, or at least get your children to understand that when they fall in the water, and you can do this as young as 2 and 3 years old, that they learn how to flip over, float, and get to the side. So the very basic is to learn those rules and take swimming lessons. And of course, the other things we talked about. Until you're a strong swimmer, use that Coast Guard approved life vest and wear it always in a boat. And even if you're confident in a lake, a stream, a pond, because you're not, in nature, things change. Swiftly along comes a wind, you could be swiftly away, you can hit your head. So always in open water, always a life vest. So learn to swim. That's what does it. Learn to swim, or you learn how to teach your child to save themselves or to be safe when they try to help someone else. There are so many cases of kids jumping in after their buddy, and the buddy gets to the side, and the kid that went in is lost.
Yeah, you read about that in the paper.
Read about it all the time.
Yeah. Now, I see signs around the Family Aquatic Center here about parental responsibility. What's that all about?
Well, we are here as safety people, lifeguards and first aid and first responders. We're here to help when something happens. But parents really need to be diligent. They need to make sure that their children have swim diapers so that the water can stay clean and we don't have to take time out. You need, back in the day, did anybody ever tell you, if you eat that sandwich, wait 30 minutes?
Yeah.
My mother could come up with every single amount of time. Sandwich, 30 minutes. Popcorn, 20 minutes. She had it all. Ice cream, 5 minutes. She had it all figured out. But there was a reason for that. When you eat, right, you need a few moments to relax, perhaps to go to the bathroom, to take a break, and it gives kids a time to rest because you know how kids, they see the pool, boy, they're in there and they're going and going. So you don't want to get overtired, and you don't want them to have a big heavy meal in their stomach. So it's not so bad to take breaks and take time out. So parents have to be involved in this. Sun lotions, staying hydrated, and watching their children. Can I tell you a quick story about
Please do.
rescue here? I do everything I can, and our safety staff is top-notch. But we got a call one day, a guest, a little girl, 6 years old, was here as a guest. She came in with her mother, walked right past the free life vests. The mother was in the leisure pool area, and the little girl got away from the mom, walked down the ramp into the deeper water in the main pool, and silently drowned. Our staff went instantly into what they've trained and practiced for. I ran down when I got the call, and I saw this lifeless little body on the ground with our lifeguards working on her, and they were teenagers at the time. and they resuscitated her successfully. She had no damage whatsoever. She quietly walked down the ramp. No one was with her, and boom, it only took minutes. Those 2 lifeguards will remember that, and our staff, the rest of their lives. When I called that mother to talk with her, she said, I walked by that life jacket rack, and I asked my friend, should I put her in a jacket? And my friend said, no, the water's shallow. But I knew my daughter runs away a lot. You know, she's very active. I should have worn that jacket. So even the safest pools can have something like that happen, but mom and dad have to be with them. Get rid of those cell phones. Watch your babies. Is that text, is that worth that few seconds, especially a backyard pool? Is that worth it? And it's just not. It's vigilant.
And in this case, there was no warning. The child just walked.
No warning. Just walked in and quietly, silently drowned. And our lifeguards brought her back around. We had EMS right here right away, but they had resuscitated her successfully, and she's fine today.
That's some story.
It shows you even with vigilance, it can happen. But we need the parents to be our partners. So get rid of those cell phones. Get rid of them. Watch it. Enjoy the experience.
Okay, so you've given us a whole lot of information, some new stuff that I'd never heard before. How can we learn more about drowning?
Well, we're a part of a larger organization called the World Waterpark Association. And this year, and for years to come, all over the world on the same day, we're giving free beginner learn to swim lessons. So whether it's Dubai, Australia, California, or Summit, New Jersey, we're giving free learn to swim lessons, all part of this larger unit, breaking world records every year. It's amazing. Being part of something like the world's largest swim lesson, or going to their website, WLSL.org, or better yet, poolsafely.com, which is a government site which gives you great information on how to be safe around the water, and also the National Drowning Prevention Alliance. We're part of that. We're proud to say we're an award winner because of the work we do here. But around the country, there's great strides being taken in trying to make each water experience as safe as possible. There are so many organizations that have been formed, Frank, and sadly because someone lost a child. So finally they've come together in a group called Families United. And together, each state, each one of these organizations is going to do everything they can so nobody has to have that experience. So you can find out more, learn more. Water and water safety can be it's a great lifetime activity. You shouldn't be afraid by what we've shared with you, but vigilance and learn to swim.
This is great. Thank you very much for providing a load of information on a very important subject, and have fun swimming and be safe.